Things just took a major turn for the New York Jets as we have multiple updates in regards to a key trade that the Jets have been linked to multiple times throughout this offseason, with a lot of the pieces falling into place perfectly for the New York Jets to really take advantage of a situation here that Darren Mougey could pull off an absolute heist if he does this correctly. And we're going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And guys, if you are part of that 70% that's not subscribed to Jets Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily Jets content. You do not want to miss out on all the great videos that we have out and that are coming out every single day. But let's jump into it. There's a lot to talk about on the subject as, look, Darren Mougey, he's had an interesting first offseason with the New York Jets. What we've seen thus far is a team that certainly wants to move in the right direction by building up and building a culture first and then bringing in more higher level talent. Right now, the Jets do not have a bunch of big flashy names on their team, but what they do have is success. They have talent and they have a team that they do believe in. And with that in mind, Mougey's also been adamant that the Jets are not done making moves with this team. There is still more stuff that we're going to see happen, according to Mougey. Whether they're bigger or smaller moves, he did not give a ton of detail, but he did say the Jets were not done adding talent onto this roster. And there's been a lot of trade rumors recently around the NFL, and one of the key names that's been coming out is Chris Olave. Olave obviously has a connection to the Jets already between Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields being on this roster for the Jets. Don't forget to mention Jeremy Ruckert as well, because Ruckert also a member of that Ohio State team that had Olave on it. Olave and Fields were teammates for a few years at college at Ohio State. So it's important that there's already this connection built in here, and that's good for Jets fans and everyone, including myself, who's interested in Chris Olave. Now, there is multiple updates on this front because also we're learning more about the price of Olave while also learning that he is someone who should be mentioned in trades. I mean, just taking a look at Olave's numbers, what he's got so far, we're seeing 400 yards this season. I mean, obviously, the season's over. What he's got so far into his career, as he does have a contract extension coming up, is that last season he had 400 yards in 8 games played. He had 32 receptions in that time with 12.5 yards per reception and 1 touchdown. A down year, which could help with the trade situation, specifically in regards to the fact that he does have that contract extension coming up that is going to burden the Steelers. Do they want to continue to move forwards with Olave? Someone who there is questions about the health situation, specifically in regards to concussions, but just in general, he's been great for them. I mean, he's got 10 touchdowns on his career with 2,565 yards and 13.4 yards per reception. He also has 191 career receptions, so no matter where he goes, he is going to hit the 200 mark. So, look, Olave is a nice player. It does give the Jets a legit wide receiver, too, instead of right now what they'd be doing as a committee. But just taking a look at some of the information here, it was mentioned by Nick Farabaugh that the trade cost for Olave would not be light. League sources had a consensus that it would take likely at least a day 2 pick, likely a second-round pick for the Saints to part ways with Olave before his 4th season. If they even considered trading him, which is not guaranteed that they're going to. There's just a lot of talk surrounding it right now. And given that the Saints have no reason or desire to move Olave, the cost is likely higher than that. So it would not be a mutual agreement where the Saints are like, we want to move on from Olave. We don't want him on the team anymore. We don't see a reason in going after or moving on from Chris Olave. They like him. So where things stand right now, if the New York Jets do want to go out there and get Olave, someone who definitely is not untouchable at the same time, as there have been calls made to the Steelers about Olave's availability, the Jets would have to pay top dollar. And then it becomes a matter of, are you willing to part with a second-round pick and probably a 5th as well to bring in Chris Olave to this team to continue to build up this culture? You do give away some draft assets at that span. And on top of that, what you're seeing is not the most ideal situation when he does have that concussion concern. And on top of that, the Jets do have a legit wide receiver 1 in Garrett Wilson. Right now, their wide receiver 2 game is not great. But look, right now, what we've seen out of Olave is 2 1,000-plus yard years when he's been healthy. In that span, 2022, he had 1,042 yards, then got up to 1,123 yards last year, also getting 5 touchdowns, or 2 years ago in 2023, getting 5 touchdowns. It was his best year, and then this year got cut short because of injury. So you look at everything, you do understand that the value is still going to be high, even though the numbers weren't great last year because of the injuries. Now, You look at his contract situation, that's where things get interesting. This is his contract year, or he's got that 5th-year option that'll be accepted, and from there, he would become a free agent. He would need that massive payday, and as long as he has a good, healthy year, he's going to be looking for that massive payday 100% over this following offseason. He doesn't want to play without more contract stability. He wants to get that extension, so we could see him potentially hold out if that's what it takes. But there is a lot to consider with this, and it doesn't really... It hurts his value if the Saints want to move on from him. But if they don't, it doesn't affect things. However, the Saints are in cap hell right now. Their salary situation is not very good, and because of that, it does help the New York Jets and any other team that does want to go after Olave. Now, the Steelers have had interest in him, already made a few different blockbuster trades involving wide receivers already this year. I mean, bringing in DK Metcalf is one thing, and then moving on from Pickens is another, sending him to Dallas. So, interesting stuff there. But at the same time, for this Jets team, it would help that the Saints are in this cap hell, and I don't know if the Steelers are going to keep throwing stuff away, throwing assets away, not throwing assets away, but trading assets for wide receivers, especially when you're not sure about the Rodgers situation as well, which does play into things. Now, right now, the Jets wide receiver 2, if anyone, is Allen Lazard. Look, Lazard had 530 yards. I cannot speak this video. 37 receptions, 14 yards per reception, and 6 touchdowns. Look, he took the restructured contract, so that's something. He's not the worst wide receiver, too, if he gets the penalties sort of just toned down and stops holding everyone. At the same time, the Jets have been open about the fact that they want wide receivers who could block because they're going to run the ball a lot. So that kind of plays into Lazard and Josh Reynolds being prominent on the field for the Jets. Outside of that, you do have Arian Smith, who played in college, won 2 championships there, had his best year where he really got things going in 2024 when he had 817 yards, 17 yards per reception, and 58.4 yards per game with 5 touchdowns. Smith is an elite speed threat. The question is he going to hold on to the ball? How do the drops situation, how do you handle that? Can the Jets sort of fix that issue? And then it all just depends on really if the Jets do move on from any of their wide receiver core right now, because it's thin right now. We've seen the Steelers also have interest in Lazard, especially considering the Rodgers situation again. And I do think Rodgers is going to end up on the Steelers sooner rather than later. And then there will be some interest in Lazard, most likely because Rodgers likes him. So we'll see if the Jets even do that now with the restructured contract. Just bit my mouth because I cannot speak at all. This is great. But look, I really like the idea of Olave more than I like the actual thought of it happening. And basically, I don't know if I want Darren Mougey to make a move for this when you have a legit wide receiver 1 and you're going to run the ball heavily in a year where you're still sort of rebuilding things up. Look, if they were contending, it would be different, but there's a very good chance that is a good second-round pick, and the Jets are likely going to be at the top of the draft again at the end of this season. And if that's the case, then what we're going to be looking at is a very valuable pick lost by the Jets. So I'd rather them not do it where things stand right now. Obviously, if they started to win and Olave became available, then you could kind of revisit this and just see what the price is. But I'd hold off right now if I was the Jets. But what would you guys do? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Jets.